Hi, welcome to this week's HomeKit Show, and I'm with my co-host Chris. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I am doing fantabulous, except for the snow on the ground. It's April. This should be over. Get it over with. Let's move on.
So, how much snow have you got?
We got a good inch and a half, -4 Celsius here at the end of April in Canada right now. So all of us are kind of shaking our heads and going, "Let's move on." But speaking of weather, this arrived. So the Eve weather. So good things, bad things. Life balances
You want to
itself
get it
out.
outside to see if it can predict for when the sun will come through.
It is already outside and installed, and we'll see. More on this to come.
Okay, so yeah, don't forget to check out that video when it finally lands. I'm sure he's going to provide us lots of deep analysis of how it all works. So looking forward to that one. So in this week's show, we're going to cover the new Apple TV with Fred support. And we're also going to speak briefly about the AirTag. We're also going to talk about the Netatmo Secure video firmware update that's going to be released in the next couple of days. Eve's new light switch, which is being released to the EU. And then we're going to have a chat around Chip and how that project's going and what to expect in 2021. Okay, so starting with the Apple TV with Fred, was this a surprise to you, Chris?
No, not at all. I think the only thing that was a surprise, and my bingo card did not have, or didn't, I couldn't mark on my bingo card, was the lack of the U1 chip, the ultra wideband. I don't get why, like that seems like a missed opportunity there. You look at, they've put Thread in all the HomePod minis, the Apple TV being the other home hub. It was a logical thread. Like this was the least surprising decision from Apple in a long time, right? This whole event, to some degree, was not any surprises, except for the lack of the U1. That has me scratching my head. You?
Especially into the remote, yeah. It's just it just seems like a big miss.
Yep.
It could also mean, though, they're going to release some sort of case for it, which will have a little slip to be able to put an AirTag in, which I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'm very surprised they've not shipped it with U1. It's just one of those things. I just think Apple sometimes do this.
So yeah, the remote is absolutely, that was a miss, no question. But from my perspective, I think having the base station, having the Apple TV with the U1, that's the bigger miss. In that if you think about kind of how some of this location stuff is going to work, all of those radios, all those U1 radios built into your HomePod minis, those are stationary devices. So those start to create a kind of an RF spectrum of, you have certain things in your house which are always going to be in the same place. They're not wandering around, and that gives you that triangulation piece. So this is just, again, kind of mind-boggling that they don't have that in there. Could this be a case of like the HomePod Mini, where we find out later on that they included something that they didn't talk about? I think honestly, Thread wasn't even mentioned in the keynote. So Thread was something that was discovered on the webpage after the fact, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. But the U1 chip was found in the specs. So I just don't think it's in there unless they've not listed it. I was actually speaking to Sigmund Judge just after the keynote, and he seems to think this is a stopgap product. This is something that before next year they'll be releasing something that will be more of the future of Apple TV.
And that's a possibility. I was thinking, based on just kind of reading the tea leaves of what Apple's been doing, I would have expected, I think it was an A12 they put in it. I'm again wondering why it wasn't an A14 or an M1. Are they trying to make it a gaming platform with the Apple Arcade piece? I think, now that you say those words out loud, I think that's probably, stopgap product is probably a pretty good way to look at this. But a stopgap product with a lot of value, especially if you're in the HomeKit camp.
Yeah. I've also had a lot of questions whether it's worth upgrading if you've already got a 4K Apple TV. And I know I've answered a few of them. I've had a few direct messages, but my take on this is, if you've already got a 4K Apple TV and you've got a HomePod Mini and you want to get into Thread, then I don't think it is a worthy upgrade, in my opinion. I think if you want to do anything, I think get the remote. I think the remote is going to add more value if you've already got the existing 4K TV. I also think that if you're not already into Thread, you haven't got an Apple TV, and you are thinking about doing it, then you still got the cheaper option with a HomePod Mini at $99.99. But I still do see the value in the 4K TV. I just don't think. Well, I probably will upgrade myself, but I think
Yeah,
my general,
who are you kidding? You're upgrading.
yeah, yeah, I know. I think my general consumer advice, if I was advising someone about a buying decision, I would say if you got the existing one, don't go for it. What about you though?
I, I I think I would follow that advice. If you've got HomePod minis, they're cheaper already. You can get them for that $100 kind of sweet spot, depending, currency conversion applied. Um, in my case, I will be doing the upgrade in that the two HomePod minis I have in my house right now are located at kind of separate areas of where I've got my Apple TV 4K. So in that case, I will be able to put in that 4K TV. That will be coming under Thread router, not a Thread border router, but a Thread router more than likely. And that will make the overall mesh just a little bit cleaner in my environment and a little bit stronger from a Thread perspective. Now, that's just, do I need it? No, I don't need it. I've got some of the old, I guess old is weird to call it that now. What, the HD, the prior to the 4K was the HD Apple TV. So I got a couple of
Yep.
those around the house that I can swap out, move my 4K down. Um, are we going to see any tremendous, huge benefit? Like, is it a mind blowing product? No, it's not. Do I need it?
Yep.
Probably not. Am I going to get one? Yeah, I am.
So speaking about getting one, AirTags. What's your take on that?
Oh, there was a wonderful gentleman on the internet that said that there are aliens in outer parts of the universe that we haven't discovered yet that knew these were coming. That would be you, my friend.
Yeah.
Completely again in the most predictable move ever. Apple released AirTags. To some degree, I will tell you, I was a little bit surprised by them releasing this product in the moves that they've done with Chipolo lately, with opening up the Find My app to other developers. I thought there was a reasonable chance that Apple may have gone full third party accessory with the Find My. Right, when you're in the position of a player like Apple, you always have to be concerned: are you being monopolistic? Is Tile going to be pointing fingers at them for doing this crazy thing? Um, I'm a little bit not surprised. We knew it was coming. We knew an AirTags thing was coming. I think it's going to be great. I love the fact that they put NFC chips in the AirTags. I think that's going to be awesome in the future. It's pretty much what
Yep.
we expected. I know Eric from Modern Day Tech did a great video on that as well. So, but
Yeah, that video will be coming above now if you're watching it on YouTube, and if you're listening to the podcast, it's in the show notes. A great video on the AirTags by Eric. So yeah, I'm going to buy some. I'm going to buy 4. See how I get on with them. I think I'll get something out of them. I'm always saying, where are my keys? Where is my wallet? Even though I don't take my wallet out very often because of Apple Pay,
yep.
there is those times when I need my wallet, and it's because I've put it somewhere and I just totally forgot about it. So I could slip an AirTag in there. I could do the same with my keys. The thing that does surprise me is these are £29 in the UK. One of the keyrings is £35. That's a typical Apple. The accessory is nearly is more expensive than the actual main device. But I've already seen some on Amazon. I've got a couple are on order, so I'm going to see what they're like first. I know that Belkin are doing a couple as well. So yeah, let's check it out. I'm also excited, like you, about NFC and some of those features. I
I
think it's going
think
to be great to see how they take this product forward.
it is for the keyring pit thing. I think that's a good. It's a classic Apple move. It allows their accessories, the third-party MFI partners, to be able to do some innovation, add some personalization. That's really the personalization. Purple iPhone that got on the keynote. Sorry, that's all I'm going to say about that. But purple, that was a worthy announcement. Um, yeah, one keyring, fine. The other three, that you're going to drop them in your wallet. You're going to drop it in your bag. You're not even going to need any kind of a holder for it, I think. So I think that's probably, I'm okay with that. And again, given the price point, that $29, you're going to be saving that £5, add up 5 times that pays for the keyring.
So moving on then to Netatmo, have just announced HomeKit Secure Video for their outdoor cameras. So the previously released HomeKit Secure Video for the indoor camera And I know both of us, I think you've got one. I've certainly got one. I don't use it anymore. But they've announced HomeKit Secure Video for the Siren and the without Siren version. Um, have you got one, Chris?
I do have one, and so mine right now is old. I do believe someone may have hit it with a stick. I walked out to the front of my property, and it was like really turned to the side. The color of the screen is now gone red. But this camera has been like 4 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. So if it's getting HomeKit Secure Video, that's kind of an amazing value. If indeed, because I've got I think the first gen of these cameras, um, that's kind of an amazing value that they've been able to continue to innovate on that as the lifetime of this camera goes. So I may have recorded, kind of a rose-colored glasses version of the world, but it's kind of amazing. Now we knew this was coming, or at least they had talked about it. Um, what 2 years ago, I guess, when they were doing the beta of the indoor camera.
Yeah.
So we knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when. To be honest, I had forgot that they had announced it, and this just came up out of the blue from nowhere. So, good
Yeah.
little spring present.
Yeah, it did. It came out of the blue. They announced it on Twitter this morning, and then 30 minutes after I put something on the website, they then sent me an email to say, just to let you know, HomeKit Secure Videos has become will be coming available. And I was like, yeah, I already know. I went back and said, yeah, I already know. I saw your Twitter account. They've also said the smart video doorbell will also get HomeKit Secure Video, and that's one of the things when I reviewed it that there was a shortcoming of that particular doorbell. Even though you've got the onboard storage and the app that I think is pretty good, HomeKit Secure Video for this doorbell will be really good. Now they have said coming soon, but they said coming soon many months ago. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when that finally does arrive.
And for when it does arrive, I think everybody has to remember that when it does arrive and some people get it, you're not going to get it for probably weeks to months after that. For the most part of
Yeah,
the world, if we look at what happened with the indoor camera, the Welcome rollout, that took, I don't know, 2 months. People were
mm,
getting it. I actually I ended up getting it by accident on the beta program and talked about it before I was supposed to. So I don't even know how I signed up for that, but it was a slow rollout. And I will
yeah,
tell you that yeah, the Netatmo app, the facial rec they put in, is still one of the best that exists in the HomeKit right now. Right, we're getting secure video. That's great, but I'm a big fan of the indoor cams. I'm still running them in my house just simply because of
yeah,
the facial rec piece. I hope they would do more integration into Apple now that we've got that, but we'll see.
yeah. I think Apple needs to do more with HomeKit Secure Video this year. Um,
Yeah.
to see what happens.
So the one thing I would like to see is Apple be able to trigger automations based off of specific people's faces. That's the big miss here. You can do that with the Starline Hub using Nest cameras. Why can we not do that with the Apple version of in the native platform? I have no idea. From the Netatmo, from that doorbell, I, too late maybe. Logitech is already kind of, at least in North America, I know most people have already gone to Logitech Circle View doorbell. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
So moving on to another announcement this week, Eve have announced a Switch that is available for the European market, not the UK, the European market. That is a wired switch that is also thread compatible. Now, this, from what I understand, can act as a thread router, however you want to pronounce it, and it can help expand your mesh network. It looks good. It, as with all Eve products, they're very well built, very well made. I bought personally a number of Eve products myself. I do think it's a bit on the pricey side for €99. I think it is. I just think it's a little bit out there.
They've got no competition in this space. I think in the thread-enabled light switch space, to be
Yeah.
clear about what I mean on that. And this is what Eve has done. Like I don't know if you remember way back when the Eve contact sensors, they were selling for about $120 a piece Canadian. Like, can
Wow.
you imagine paying for $120 for a contact sensor now?
Yeah.
But it was the only thing that was available. There was Eve and Fabaro back in the day. So I think this is Eve taking advantage of the current demand in the market, where everybody, whether it makes sense or not, is saying I'm not buying something unless it has thread. So I think
Yeah.
Eve is doing a good job. Again, completely no surprise here at all to anyone watching this space. As a North American user, I'm kind of like, can you guys just start releasing some of the stuff in North America? We have the Eve Weather, we have the Eve Aqua, but we don't have any Eve full thread node routers. So there's no Eve Energy yet for North America. Stuff is coming, but can't wait to get my hands on that.
I think you're right, Chris. I suppose I've not looked at it that way. It's similar with the Eve Energy. The Eve Energy, when I first bought mine, I think was £55. You can now pick the latest version up for £34. So there's because they've got more competition. And I think it's supply. If there's nothing there in the market, then I have heard rumors and that Nanoleaf are going to be releasing something thread and switch type product. Don't know how true that is. So don't go thinking that that's coming anytime soon. I just heard a rumor that was going to be arriving later on this year. Not sure if it's going to be wired or whether it's going to be a wireless thing like the U dimmer. I personally use I use a number of U dimmers in my house, and I've also got Lightwave, which are the UK HomeKit or Smart Home power and switch company. They're expensive as well, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So it's still interesting to see more thread devices come in. I think this year is going to be really interesting, which leads us on to our topic of conversation, which is chip. I know that you attended the webinar. Did you? Is that correct?
Yes, Chip or Choip.
Choip.
I like Choip at this point because it's yeah, that word kind of describes how I feel about the project at the moment. I did attend the
Yeah.
webinar. Um, I wish people who don't know what they're talking about would not answer questions. What
Okay.
I saw in that webinar was a bunch of participants, of which I'm a participant as well, but they were answering questions as if they were authorities on the subject. And so from the webinar perspective, I think the information was really useful. I think we got a lot of information on some of the specific device type, the accessory categories in a HomeKit parlance, if you will, that they're looking at. Cameras was not in there, which is interesting. They kind of cleared up the bridge perspective that, why would you want to put chip in a bridge? So for instance, this is what rumors are that Hugh would be looking at doing, and it makes sense. You can redo the firmware in your bridge and expose it to chip, or you could look at all your accessories. So I think that's all good. The thing that again, I'm just kind of shaking my head. We were supposed to see the chip draft spec done in, I think, January, and now it is just finally getting released, but only to chip vendors if you pay the money. And we were supposed to see chip devices and accessories starting to go through certification now-ish, and now we're looking at the end of 2021, 2022. So I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions on implementation, on how vendors are actually going to pick this up. It is like with anything HomeKit or anything smart home related, don't buy on a promise, right? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And I am hopeful. I have also been in my other, day job. I've been around standards for far too long to actually get my hopes up too much, right? Part of
Yeah.
a standards body always has to allow individual members to add value. And sometimes adding value means doing things in a way that won't work with anything else.
Yeah.
Hopeful, but
I think I think like you, there's a lot of people talking about it that don't necessarily know what they're talking. And I tend not to try and get into it because I've not, I understand what they're trying to achieve, but I don't want to start talking too much about it until I see more traction. I think the biggest misunderstanding with the chip project that people seem to be spreading is this is going to solve all the incompatibility problems between smart home platforms, and it's not going to do that, is it? It's not going to uh, enable Google Home or Google Assistant to work within HomeKit or vice versa. It's also not going to fix. I saw a tweet a number of months ago now. Can't wait for chip to arrive because it will mean that onboarding light bulbs into my home will be a lot easier. It's not going to fix rubbish products. It's not going to fix devices not being able to pair with various platforms because they're a bit flaky, or the Wi-Fi chip or the Thread chip is a bit, it's not very good. I think what it's going to hopefully do is allow consumers to have a lot more choice. But I think there's still going to be the element of selfishness with the brands that are going to want to try and channel consumers to their particular service.
Yeah, and this is some of the things, again, the confusion, people talking when they shouldn't. Thread is not chip. Just because you buy something that's Thread today, there's no guarantee that that vendor is going to implement a chip application layer on top of it in the future. So there's that piece. There is the, as you said, if you're not paying up front, you're paying on the back end, right? The vendors have to fund development from somewhere. So if you bought a $20 smart plug today, you're not going to get chip on that later. There's no money to fund the development on the older product. They already got your money and they don't have enough to fund the development. So for vendors like Lutron or Hue or some of the higher brand, higher premium value players, where yes, you're paying more for that light bulb today, but the same light bulbs I bought from Hue 5-6 years ago still all work with the new Hue bridge. They're still being developed on. I'm still getting the Hue sync functions. So I think that people, as you said, as we roll out, I think that yes, it's going to make the commissioning new devices onto your network easier, assuming it's a chip product right from the get-go. But if it's a product that already exists, don't expect any of these things to get chip. Like unless you hear, I was going to say, unless you hear specifically from the vendor, I'm like, even then, even if they tell you they're going to do it, don't believe them. Don't believe them until it's actually done. Right? That's.
I think Ring is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, well, ring that bell. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, we'll ring that bell. So, Chris, what are you working on this week, this weekend? What's your plans in the smart home world?
Well, assuming that the snow is gone, I am really trying to get my my environment, my outside environment set up. I'm going doing some construction, but I've got the Eve weather in that I'm trying to do some more intelligent automations around, when I water my lawn, those kinds of things. Like many places in the world, we're going into water shortage, which is strange in Canada. We've got most of the fresh water in the world, but it is what it is. So I'm going to be doing some more intelligent things around those kinds of things, and just basically, the puttering around the house, I guess, is how we would describe that here. Trying to get things cleaned up for spring. You? What do you got going on?
That's nothing review related or anything like that. I've got a couple of reviews in the pipeline, but things I'm working on, but mainly getting the new studio sorted. So I mentioned it last time, I'm now in there. You can see that I'm in my new area. There's still a few things like cable management and all the things you just sort of put to I personally put to one side because I want to have things nearly ready. So I've got the cable management things to do. I need to arrange some scenes and automations to make things a lot easier to turn on. So at the moment, when I'm going to edit, I've got an edit scene, which controls the lights in a certain way, but I've also got a filming scene. So I press the scene, but there's a lot more scenes I want to create because I want to be able to create, if I can, different zones. So when I've had enough of editing or working, I can click a button and it automatically turns that side of the room off, and I can move to the other side and have 10 minutes just to relax with the right lighting. I'm also trying to, at the moment, get a Dyson air purifier, the pure coolant air, into HomeKit via Homebridge. But it's the HP07, and it doesn't seem to be supported, even though it's not the latest version, but it's certainly not the oldest one. I keep getting an error within Homebridge saying this accessory is not supported. So if anyone can actually figure this out for me, just put it in the comments or reach out. That'd be great. But I'm going to have another go at trying to get that done this weekend.
So yeah, the Homebridge one, let me possibly save you some trouble. I'm not sure if this is the same with Homebridge, but Home Assistant, it's been broken for about 2 months. Dyson changed their API on their side. And so this is one of those things about using things like Home Assistant or Homebridge. This is no longer local communication anymore. It's none of it's exposed to Apple HomeKit, but it's not certified in the same way. So the way that that
Yeah.
plugin works is it goes out to the cloud, contacts Dyson, and then sends all the commands back and forth to the cloud. They change the way that it authenticates, which means that your plugin no longer authenticates. And honestly, no, I put no blame on Dyson. They have no contract. It's using a not a public API. They're free to change whatever they want to in their own ecosystem. So this is not
Yeah.
blaming Dyson, but I know I've been almost 2 months that all of my Home Assistant exposed Dysons no longer work. So I'm just waiting on that. And this, the beauty of open source, I can fix it myself or wait for somebody else to do it. And right now, I've got other things to spend my time on. So you might just have to wait. So the most important question: zip ties or Velcro?
Velcro.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, Velcro. I used zip ties in the other studio, which I moved from a couple of months ago, or sorry, moved into. And yeah, Velcro is the way to go. I've also got some floor plates as well to put down for some of the cables that stretch along the back of the wall. So yeah, I was going to replace the entire skirting board with a new skirting board that actually had built-in cable management, but then I just thought, no, I'm going a bit too far now. Just get some floor pads and put them in. Chris, thanks very much for this week. It's been really appreciated. If you've not already checked Chris out, I know a number of people have made comments and actually left us a review where they said it's great Chris is on board. So I'm sure lots of you already know Chris is, but if you've not already checked out his channel, links are in the description below and show notes. But it's Chris, HomeKit Geek on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think every social media platform going, Chris is on there. Lots of information you can share. So don't forget to check out his channel.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And yeah, no, this has been a pleasure, and I am looking forward to our bright and sunny future with purple iPhones.
Yeah, purple iPhones. Right. Okay, well, thanks very much. We'll speak to you soon.